Good morning. Grab your cup. Last night in a client call, we were talking about changing our thoughts, those looping same thoughts that you have over and over, the thoughts that maybe keep you really anxious and fearful, and how to change those thoughts. So, the first thing is recognize that thoughts go down a pathway. It's neurons, they fire. Boom, 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 boom. There's a pathway. And the way that they fire, as you have a thought, it's like a worn track. It's just going to go over and over, which is why you get stuck in those loops and it's hard to change that. So it's called a neural pathway, and that neural pathway has already been wired up and fired regularly. So in order to change that, this is the frame that I used on our call last night and the way that I think of it. So see if this is helpful for you. By the way, this is new coffee. It's really, really good. So if you've ever lived where there's a ton of snow. So I went my freshman year to the University of Minnesota, ton of snow. That's why I didn't go back my sophomore year, right? Snow up over my head sometimes. And if you're in a ton of snow and there's only one pathway that you can go, one place that's been shoveled, that's where you go. That's where everybody's walking, right? Because it's the only sidewalk available. Nothing else has been shoveled. If you've never been plowed out of your driveway, you know you can't get out the driveway, right? So you go down that path because it's available. It's the one that's open. But when you're on that path, you always end up at Susie's house. And you don't like Susie. You don't feel good when you're at Susie's house. It's not where you want to go. But you just keep ending up there because that's the only path that's cleared. So now you want to have some other options. You don't want to go to Susie's house anymore. So you have to pick up your shovel and you have to shovel out a new path, a new way to go. And you've got to clear it, which is a lot of work. And then you've got to practice it. You've got to stamp it down with, as people walk on a sidewalk, then it gets really flattened out. So you've got to do that by choosing to go that way and not go to Susie's house. Now, let's say while you're shoveling, you get tired and cold and you go inside for a little bit. And while you're inside, it starts to snow again. Wah, wah. Right? So it starts to snow again. And now what you just shoveled, like maybe you got halfway down and what you shoveled gets covered over with snow. Maybe it's not as deep as it was, but there's new snow there. So now you're like, okay, I got to clear that again. And you've got to do that and clear it and do that and clear it and walk down it until it becomes the new available pathway, until it is so trampled down from you consistently walking on it that you no longer even think about going to Susie's house anymore. That's what has to happen in order to change your neural pathways. So it's really two things. You have to break your relationship with the old neural pathway. You have to stop, which is a conscious effort for a while until it's not an effort anymore. But you've got to consciously stop choosing the pathway you want to get off of, because the more you go down it, those neurons get fired in that order. That's what happens physiologically. So you've got to break up that firing of the neurons, and you've got to practice going down your new pathway, which is new thoughts. You've got to practice thinking new and better thoughts so that when you go down, hi honey, when you go down your newly shoveled path, you end up at a place where you want to be. You end up at somebody's house that you really like. That's how I frame changing our thoughts, right? And it's not bad that you have to go in and rest for a while. Just know that the path might get covered over. Okay. So that's what it takes to reframe your thoughts. Now, there's other things you need to do in your physical body and in your nervous system as well. You need to teach your nervous system how to calm down. But that is is really the best analogy that I can think of about changing your thoughts. All right? Okay. We're going to say have a good day. Bye.